Finding out about my nonna Filippa has been very healing for me. The whole process of this journey has made me understand the questions I've wanted to ask for a long time. Do you know, the privileges that they may not have had in their life, they've given to me in this life. Because look, I have a privileged life. I've travelled the world. I've met some extraordinary people. I've also met a lot of people too that are worth forgetting as well. But it's taken me to a lot of great places and it's taught me a lot of things. I would call that great privilege, which is something they never had. I didn't expect to find the link that both Grandad, Francesco and I both started working at 7. That really blew me away. That floored me completely. The only difference is that his work was absolutely horrible and mine was pleasurable. So, like I said, the privileges he didn't have, I got. Part of me almost, I don't want to say that I feel guilty for it because that wouldn't be right to say that. It wouldn't be right. But my privileges too came with a lot of sacrifices and it was a pretty expensive bill to pay as well. So I paid it a lot, but I laughed a lot, like my nan. She was a happy baby apparently when she was left on the wheel. Well, I made sure that I laughed through everything that I did as a child. I was a bit of a clown. I still enjoy a good laugh. It keeps me alive. If I knew him now, if he was still alive now, I'd kiss him to death. And he'd probably love it too, Nonno. He's such a stoic man. But as, you know, I think he would have been a big marshmallow inside. There's one thing that has become very apparent to me through this journey. I now know why I've been misunderstood for as long as what I have been. That's the Sicilian culture. That's when I was saying to you before, the different influences, the different cultural influences that have infiltrated through this extraordinary island that is very lightly disconnected from the mainland of Italy. So it's an island mentality. It's completely different. I feel strong. I feel proud. And I absolutely love where I come from because this place is just an absolute, it's beauty. It's just beauty. Doesn't matter where you go, it is beauty. It tells a story. It will make you laugh. It will make you cry. And everything in between. And it has to be seen to be believed. I know why the Anglo-Saxon culture has, or any culture in the world, has been attracted by the Italians. They're warm and they're completely mad. This journey's made me realise a lot of wonderful things, but in relation to feeling Sicilian, I've always felt Sicilian. That's why I've always been loud, opinionated. You know, they call me a smart ass. I remember people saying to me, God, my mother saying to me, you're over-opinionated. What do you mean I'm over-opinionated? I have an opinion. Does that mean because I'm not allowed to say it because I'm a girl, or because she grew up, of course, not being able to really voice and express what she felt or what she was, what she was thinking? Boy, I'm not going to suppress myself. That's one thing you can be guaranteed with me. You'll never die wondering what I'm thinking. And I prefer it that way. I think there's something very, very honest and very it's fantastic. Sorry, I much rather know what people are thinking. I'm not interested in trying to read minds on continuously. yes, it is. It's definitely changed the way I look at myself. I'm going to stop being so hard on myself. I have to stop being hard on myself. It's got to stop. I guess one of the hardest things, there are many hard things that I learnt about this journey. But I think the hardest thing is that sometimes, the hardest thing I've learnt about this whole thing is that they had to leave in order to get ahead, because there was no future for them here, particularly in that time period. That was tough. That had a lot of repercussions for everybody. And it changed things for everyone. The choices. No, there is nothing that I had wished that I had. There's nothing that I've discovered about my family that I wouldn't have wished to discovered. I would have loved to have sat down with my great-grandmother, Carmela Rizzo, and had a good old chin wag with her. She must have been one hell of a woman. Passions, idiosyncrasies, and direction. They're directly attributed to my lineage.
How do you think so?
Passion, my great-grandmother, nurturing. Idiosyncrasies, maybe nonno Francesco Catalfamo. You know, maybe being a bit too stern and hard when he perhaps didn't have to be. Maybe made some tough choices, never coming to Australia to visit his children when he could have, but he very categorically chose not to. I see a lot of similarities between Mum and I in relation to direction. She left when she was young and for a better future or for a different experience, and I, in effect, have done the same thing. I left Australia a few years ago because I guess I was a big fish in a small pond, and it didn't really interest me to be a big fish in a small pond. I really wanted to be a small fish but in a big pond because I wanted to see different things. I had different things to learn. And direction, my mother's direction's changed too. She's always wanted to learn things, always taken great risks. And in effect, that's what I do on a daily basis. I'm a gambler. Look, there are a lot of overwhelming emotions I felt during this entire journey. One that really, really deeply affected me, took my breath away, was when we went down to the mine and I realised the kind of working conditions that my grandfather and many other young boys of that generation, that time, were subjected to. The fact that they were violated and treated, they were slaves. That just killed me. Because if there's one thing I have absolutely no tolerance for, is that. And it still exists today. And when you become a parent, like I know that there's many parents probably watching tonight, they know. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Just a little diversion like that is enough to completely change somebody's life from whatever it is, a happy one, to an incredibly traumatised one. And it killed me. That tore me apart. Absolutely tore me apart. No, I don't think that there is any unfinished business here anymore. I think everything is very clear. I think the great thing about now is I've actually met some new people and made some new friends. which has been really great fun through this whole journey. I've had such an amazing human time. I think the thing that's... There's a lot of things that this journey has done, but one thing is very, very, very prominent. And that is when you come across fantastic human spirit, it's overwhelming. And this whole journey, I've been confronted with phenomenal human spirit. And it's just restored my faith in humanity. This whole journey, it's been a very human experience. If there's anybody that has any questions that need answering, I would very strongly say to them to try and delve and go back and find out. I have a tendency to ask questions. I've been doing this for a long time now. Wanting to know too much information. I ask a lot of questions to people, and some people kind of look at me and they're very put off by that. They don't quite know what to think about that. But funnily enough, through asking people those questions, it actually enables me to understand a lot about them. It's a psychological thing. It's something that I have naturally done for a long time. Ask them about their mothers or their fathers, brothers or sisters, what their sisters are like. And through asking those questions, I'm able sometimes to actually pinpoint what they're about. Maybe it's that little bit of witchy poo in me as well. But I would very, very highly recommend to anybody to retrace the steps of the family, because it will then understand, it will then make them understand a lot about themselves and maybe give them some peace, which everybody ultimately deserves.